So again, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself briefly like we do entrepreneurs. You get 1 minute to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and why you're here. Okay?
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator and Chairman of the Ghana Hubs Network. My name is Yao Edujemfi. At the Ghana Hubs Network, I'm in charge of research and policy. I like issues around decentralization, localization, digital technologies that can be leveraged for local level development. Those are the things that I'm much interested in. So those are issues that I'll be sharing today, and sort of the collaborations that we can pull around together to make this more efficient in terms of bringing about development. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yao. My name is Janat Isifu. I'm the founder of One Hive Ghana. One Hive Ghana is a female innovation space in the Bono region, and I also double as the board director for the Ghana Hubs Network in charge of gender inclusivity and equity. And it's great to be here. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, my name is Ibuka Baforg. I'm a Nigerian, and I'm an entrepreneur in training, like I said, in Meltwater School of Technology. Thank you.
All right. My name is George Enchibo Isako, and I happen to be with the Ghana Hubs Network team, director in charge of finance, and I'm also with the Agrico Hub. We are located in Techiman, Bono East region. Far? Don't worry. I'm actually enthusiastic about issues of access to finance for startups, and that has always been something that I think about because I believe it is the blood that keeps business running. So I'm here to share insight about access to finance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think you need to give them a round of applause since they introduced themselves. So we all know that a collaborative ecosystem is one that makes sure that the entrepreneur is at the heart of it, right? And all the institutions around that are working to support entrepreneurs. Now, without, again, remember this is a safe space. Do you feel that our ecosystem is collaborative at the moment?
That's for me. This is a very difficult question. You want to put me on the spot, but I think I have a head for difficult issues. But before that, I think we all need to understand who hubs are and what they do. And within the ecosystem, where hubs place themselves to be able to drive the sort of results that is expected of them. And of course, in driving such results, hubs are expected within the ecosystem to form certain collaborations. And that's what makes hubs impactful. So a typical hub, let's say in Wale Wale in the northeast region of Ghana, for instance, is a peri-urban area. So a hub there would be an anchor. So an anchor space where you have volunteers coming, people with skill sets, high-level skill sets coming in to be able to build capacity. But it's also a hub for young people, young minds, young sharp minds, people who are passionate about developing solutions around, say, Wale Wale area, or around the area where the hub is prevalent or is operating from. So the hub will provide them a safe space, a place where they can have access to tinkering tools to be able to develop prototypes, access to co-working spaces. We know that spaces are expensive, and we've done this research because of the hackathons that we undertook across the country for our 25 days of WOW, which served as the basis for drafting the startup bill. We know that access to spaces are some of the challenges that young people have. Where do they go? If they are done with school or they are still in school, where do they go to call their office? And so the hubs serve as a place where they can call their office. They have access to a DEX, internet spacing, and other resources that helps them to be able to build their solutions and build their ideas further. Then you have local authorities. So local leaders, local authorities, the government institutions around that area, hubs collaborating with them would ensure that hubs stay as anchors. Because for me, because of my development background, I see hubs as the anchor for development, for accelerated development. And so the hub becomes the spoke. You have government institutions that they are collaborating with. There are private institutions, people who have their own businesses, others, or maybe development organizations that have set up. Then you have academic institutions that are also in that area that they are collaborating with. So there will be also NGOs and other collaborators. So then you then understand the work of hubs. The work of the hubs will be to then facilitate access to skills, facilitate access to solutions that are developed by young people, facilitate access or promote collaborations with local actors and other private actors in academic institutions that ensures that they each work together with a focus for development. Because hubs, the issues that hubs work around in terms of developing solutions, providing jobs, or preparing young people for the job market, or becoming entrepreneurs or innovators. These are all issues of development. And so I'll highlight further, as we go along, I'll highlight further with the kind of collaboration that needs to evolve. But at the moment, there are some collaborations. And so if you find a hub in your locality that is using triple helix approach of engaging academia, engaging private sector, and also engaging the government, then you will say that they are doing some partnerships. Of course, the Ghana Hubs Network, when we celebrate hubs because we know they are localized. We celebrate hubs because we know they are also playing that anchor role of collaborating and ensuring that they become more impactful. And so if hubs are not visible, if hubs are not sort of entwined in the development discussions within localities, then of course that's the reason why they are not visible. Because the big issues that they are discussing at the local level, they are not part of it. And we need hubs to be part of it. And we'll discuss further as to the kind of collaboration that will make hubs part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senior Yao. So when you were speaking, I heard a lot about talent, right? But then a thriving ecosystem is one that is, I would say, diverse and very inclusive. And right now, we already know that we have a huge challenge when it comes to diversity and inclusivity when it comes to, tech, generally speaking. So my question to you, Jeanette, is how can hubs work together to ensure that we promote a lot of, diversity, whether it's gender, cut across people with disability? How do we work together as with hubs to ensure that we promote diversity and inclusivity?
All right, thank you very much. I think I will use One Hive Ghana as a case study. I think as innovation space or as hubs, Yao has mentioned clearly our role or the role that we need to play in developing the potentials of young people, and in this case, young women and marginalized groups. I think we need to be intentional when it comes to inclusivity and diversity. This is because I would say there's been a lot of progress in the area of inclusion, because I know very well that 15 years ago, if we were to visit this country, we wouldn't have even gotten about 10 or even 15 strong women-led startups. But now the narrative has changed. We see women approaching innovation space for support. We see women creating solutions to the numerous challenges that we face in our society. And so as hubs, we need to be intentional about the support that we provide for these women and ensuring inclusivity. If you look at the ecosystem and the hubs that we have in the country now, we will not get to 15 or 20% of them being female-led hubs or hubs that are intentionally ensuring inclusivity. And that is where we need to start from. There needs to be a strong advocacy on bringing more female founders on board to support the women agenda, to support inclusion, because I always say that it is women that understands our issues and our challenges. If you come to One Hive Ghana like this, we have created a safe space for women, a space that women visit and they feel included, a space where we have safeguarding policies that ensure that the rights of women are protected. And so if we continuously create such space, that means it opens up for these women to approach us, to feel free, because it is already challenging for them to, approach spaces that are dominated by men. Because in the tech space, we cannot deny that it's being dominated by men now. And so how are we creating spaces that are safe? How are we creating spaces to intentionally bring these women on board, for them to understand that, no, this is a space that is designed for you. If you visit this space, you are going to get all the resources and tools that you need. And so then again, when it comes to collaboration, in terms of resources, how are the public agencies, how are even the women ourselves collaborating to co-create programs and initiatives that will support inclusion? Because without inclusion, or without collaboration, there can never be a strengthened ecosystem that ensures inclusion. And so we need to be intentional about the collaborations, about the support that we provide, even for these hub spaces. Because at the end of the day, if we create these spaces, it makes women feel free to approach. And when they approach, they get the support that they want. We have a lot of women in the agribusiness sector, a lot of women that are trying to strive in the digital space. But how are we ensuring that the ideas that they are coming forth with, the challenges or the solutions that they are creating, are receiving the right resources, are receiving the right funding opportunities? We have a lot of financial institutions that are a bit skeptical to give financial support to women, because they think women are not ambitious enough, because they think women will get to a stage of their businesses and they will not want to continue again. And so they feel free giving this support to men rather than women. And so how are these financial, institutions creating opportunities intentionally for women who are into business, so that there will not be that stereotype that you do not have the strength, you are not ambitious enough, your business do not have, a higher returns, and so we are not going to give you the support. So each of these stakeholders, the financial institutions, public sectors, should ensure that we are being intentional about the inclusion agenda and thereby collaborating to promote it.
Thank you. You've spoken passionately about the support for women. And since we have an entrepreneur in training on stage with us, and she was just literally hijacked to put on stage, so she wasn't prepped for this. So be nice to her. As an entrepreneur, I know you are in the MEST bubble, right? So in that regard, you get the support and everything else that you're looking for, okay? Now, do you feel, or have you ventured outside that MEST space and gone to other hubs? And if you have, did they make you feel welcome? Did you feel that you belong there? And what kind of support systems were there for you? Or do you wish you can do that? And how do you really want to do that? It's a loaded question, but feel free and answer that.
I really haven't been to any hub outside of MEST.
You really haven't been to any
Yes.
hub outside of MEST?
Yes.
So why is that?
Because, okay, so the MEST program itself, it encompasses a whole lot, and it runs day in, day out. So there's really no time to, and all the resources that we need is available at MEST. So we've never had, or let me say, I have never had a reason to go out to try out other hubs.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Jeanette, in this case, how does Ghana Hubs Network then ensure that entrepreneurs that are in MEST get to experience other things that other hubs are also offering?
All right. I think I asked someone a question when I entered, whether they know about the Ghana Hubs Network, and the person said no. And I didn't know. It was a mixed feeling, whether I should be happy that I'm coming to talk about
You should be
Ghana
happy. You should
Hubs
be happy.
Network, or the fact that the person hasn't heard about. I think it's about time we put ourselves out there. I know the network is out there because we've done a lot of collaborations with NEIP. We've done collaborations with Ghana Enterprises Agency, a lot of collaborations and a lot of projects and initiatives being enrolled by the network, but we need to do more. And I think it's on us, the individual hubs, to also put ourselves there. Now, if you look at Ghana, all the 16 regions, we have hubs across. In all the 16 regions, if you look at Greater Accra, we have even more than 5 hubs here. In the northern sector, there are hubs there. In the Bono East, Bono region, there are hubs there. And so how are they getting information about what we are doing as hubs? And this boils down to the entrepreneurs and the young people as well who are seeking for opportunity. Please, let's look out, let's search. We have access to internet, and these days, access to information have become quite easy. And so how are we utilizing the digital tools that we have to get access to the right information, to get access to the right opportunities? And so today, whilst you are here, if this is your first time of hearing of Ghana Hubs Network, you can just check out our website. We have hubs across, as our chairman said, over 70 of them that are registered with the network, and even more who are not registered with the network. And so please, let's search out for these hubs and how we can get the necessary support from them. And we need to, as hubs, also engage in collaboration. I think most of us see ourselves as competitors instead of collaborators. And so as hubs, we need to recognize that in every competition, there is collaboration. So if my lady here knows about MEST, how are other hubs collaborating with MEST? The program that they are running, how are we collaborating with each other to give each other the, the publicity, the resources? For One Hive Ghana, we've always been in touch with hubs that have the talent, the resources to help us, because we do not have everything. And so as hubs, we need to also collaborate with each other to support us in terms of resources. There are some talents in other hubs that we do not have as One Hive Ghana, or other hubs do not have. And so when you reach out to them, you are able to collaborate on that level. We are able to co-create programs that are being run in Accra might not have effective results in programs that will be run in the Bono region. But through co-creation, we will be able to create programs based on the needs of the specific ecosystems, I mean the regions. And this will help to, throw more light on what the hubs are doing. Now, if she's at MEST now, through collaboration, she will be able to know about One Hive Ghana. So moving from MEST, she knows that, there is an opportunity at One Hive Ghana that I can tap in. Thank you.
Thank you. You can give the mic to George for me. Thank you. So, George, Jeanette rightly talked about how competitive our ecosystem is, right? And usually it's down to the funding system, because you have the GIZs, you have your MasterCard, you have all of these World Bank funding different programs, which then forces us to more or less compete against each other, right? So in your own view, how do you think that we'll be able to negate against this funding system that is driving competitiveness rather than collaboration?
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. I think we have always not had enough funding for the needs of the ecosystem, because even the funding needs are not generic. It depends on the ecosystem, in terms of the local ecosystem, and what needs to be tackled. There has been certain interventions that are quite generic, that they are doing the same thing at the same time. But we should all know that if even in Ghana, if you want to name the number of institutions that are ready to actually provide resources for hubs to run programs. You could mention but a few. It means that we need more of these institutions that are ready to fund these hubs within the ecosystem. So, in fact, that funding gap has also generated some form of competition. I remember I was doing some research for my thesis, and I was looking at the capacity of hubs and how they're able to support startups. And you could see that at a point, startups feel like hubs are not doing enough to support their growth. And hubs are also feeling like they are not getting enough support. If you're looking at the challenges that hubs go through in raising funds, you can see that competition is one key thing because the resources are not many, so everybody is competing for the same partners, the same funders, and because of that, instead of collaboration, you feel like, why no go solo? So I believe it's important we look at the main source of funding that comes to the hub because you cannot discount the need for hubs in the ecosystem. Because if you are a startup and you are not hooked to a hub, in fact, you struggle because you go to a hub and you are getting the training, you are getting the direction, you are getting the support. But they are also having their challenge. And that challenge, like I said, is about the funding drought we have in Ghana. So how do we get more funding partners coming in to support the works of the hub so that that element of competition in terms of competing for funding, we'll be able to defeat that. And I think I'm happy government is now coming to the realization of the need to support hubs directly. So you could see the Hub Acceleration Grant Program that has come to support about 30 hubs in Ghana. It means that resources are coming in, and as we are getting more resources, then it means that we can also offer even quality services to startups. Because at a point, if you're a startup and you go to a hub space and you feel that you're not getting the quality that you need, you are tempted to even not go back again. So I believe it's important we work together, drive in more resources so that we can do more to give some tangible support to our startups. For instance, if you come to our hub, we have started a credit union for startups. We call it Startups Credit Union. We believe that access to funding has always been a challenge. So we need to face that one squarely. How do we internally generate some funds to direct the use and operations of funding among startups? These are things that we need to look at. But for me, I think we should be able to drive in more resources coming into the ecosystem so that the startups, when they come around, they will not feel like they are just coming to waste their time. They need to come and get real support in terms of funding, in terms of training, in terms of any other support that they may desire from the hubs. But then notwithstanding, the hubs are also doing well.
Okay, so we know stories are what drives funding, okay? So when, typical example, when iSpace has worked with Ghana Hubs Network on gender awareness program and recently on a research, innovation, and commercialization project that was funded by RISA. I'm only saying that because my boss is in the building, so I have to do it. But, so based on that, how do we measure success? That's one, right? And because, again, if some of these collaborations, because working with 22 hubs in this particular program that was sponsored by RISA, which is in itself is a huge program working with the network, how do we measure the success of that to ensure that that narrative then encourages more funding and then encourages other hubs to also work together? And since you're the research and data guy, how do we measure success?
Well, I will take it on a wider scale and talk about case studies. And then I'll go back to what I started on. Where we've gotten to as hubs, with Ghana Hubs Network being the network or the umbrella body for innovation hubs in Ghana. We've gotten to a point where we need to build case studies. And these case studies would have to be at the district level, where you have hubs at the districts working directly with district assemblies, with the local government, and demonstrating their solutions at the district level. This is the best way, in my view, where we can demonstrate success, we can demonstrate impact. And then we can link our impact to development. So for instance, if you are, say, at a district or a municipal area in Bekwai, in the Ashanti region, and there's a hub there, if the hub works with their municipal assembly to identify their areas where they have challenges, apply digital solutions, over time, these digital solutions and other solutions that would be deployed at the district assembly would yield some fruits, would yield some impact. The impact that it would yield would be linked to development because this is localized. Instead of the hubs being at the city level, and even at the city level, not directly engaging the various metropolitan and municipal areas. Because if we don't, then we are not linking our solutions and our impact to development. And I think that that's one area that we can showcase impact very quickly. Working with the local assemblies, identify areas. It could be agriculture. They might have production issues. They might have issues around low productivity or storage issues or marketing. What digital solutions can we deploy as a hub to work with the district assemblies to address issues of post-harvest losses, to address issues of storage, to address issues of marketing, to address issues of access to information for farmers. Viamo was here, in a session, and we know Viamo, what they do, deploying mobile solutions, AI-backed, that provides information, dynamic information to farmers. Let's say if we have a case study of a district, and we are deploying all these solutions. We have a case study, let's say about 10 of our 70 hubs are working directly with district assemblies, deploying all these solutions to them in a matter of a year. We can demonstrate, we can come back and demonstrate or show the kind of resource that our digital solutions, when applied to development, would give us. And I think that we will then have an opportunity to work within that triple helix approach that I talked about. Because in engaging the local assemblies, you are engaging government in that loop. But then you will bring on the academic institutions, the research institutions. But you will bring on also the private institutions, including the hubs themselves. So if MTN or other organizations work in say Bekwai, it means then we can engage them to come to work with some of the issues that we have identified as challenges within the district. It could be issues of access to telecommunication services that can be addressed. It could be issues around health, digitizing health records, making sure that doctors who work in that district or in that municipal area have access to information anywhere within the municipal area, so that they don't have to struggle pulling up patient files, attending to issues more quickly, diagnosing more quickly, and even building up the digital infrastructure in that district to ensure that doctors who work in that district can also collaborate with doctors in Kumasi or in Accra or even in Berlin, where possible, to ensure that the information and also the skill set that they need to bring to bear on the issues of the health issues at the municipal level becomes a reality. One other issue that I want to bring up that hubs need to take more seriously is also taking part in the local discussions, local development discussions. It's very important that issues around localization of digital solutions becomes a very important issue. That you are a hub working in an area, the development issues in that area, the social issues in that area becomes your issues as well. Because as a hub, you are the anchor. You are the organization that says that we are using innovation, and so we can get things done quicker, we can get things done differently, we can get things done more efficiently. And so if you are that institution, then you need to serve as that anchor that pulls all of the organizations together, within the triple helix approach, that ensures that will build the right kind of partnerships, of collaborations that addresses the local issues. I've always said that digital solutions or technologies are enablers. We don't put the cart before the horse. They are enablers. We have our issues already. We have our development issues already, and they are well, cataloged. Everybody knows about them. So now is the time for hubs and their partners and collaborators to direct those digital issues towards those challenges that we have. And I think that's where we'll make the most impact. And then we can come back here and showcase that impact to our partners, some of whom are sitting here, and others that will come later. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want this to be just us talking at you. So any questions so far? The gentleman over there? He should. I hope so. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. They're like 4.
I would love to have given you the opportunity to do all 4, but because of time, pick the one most important question.
Okay, I'm going to make it a combo.
Okay.
One question. How easy is it for entrepreneurs in Ghana to access the Ghana Hubs network, and what's the process they have to go through to join a hub? And then do they pay a fee like when they join the hubs, or it's all free? Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So the Ghana Hubs network is actually the network for all hubs in Ghana. And so you cannot join as an individual, you can join as a hub. You can do a quick search now for the Ghana Hubs network and know the hubs that are actually under the network. And so each of these hubs have their own rules as to how you are joining. But it's not even a strict or difficult way. Some of them call out for programs or they send opportunities out. You apply. When you are selected, you become automatic member of their communities. And so I would advise that you go to the Ghana Hubs network website to look at the hubs that are there and the various regions. If you go there, there is a clear demarcation of where every hub is located. And based on that, they have their contact information as well, so you can easily get access to them. And also, the Ghana Hubs network is working with GIZ to develop or design a platform, of which I'm aware that is in progress. A platform that will have all hubs, startups, entrepreneurs, and even investors. So for easy data collection and for us to have a clear idea of the number of hubs we have, the startups that we even have under each of these hubs. And so if an investor wants to work on any of the hubs, it makes it easy. It has the needs of the startups and all of that. So if you want to join a hub, I advise that you do that as soon as possible so that you'll be able to benefit from the opportunities that are upcoming.
So thank you so much. A follow-up question, very brief. So I have found out that when these people join hubs, when they sign up to programs, they automatically become part of the email list of a particular hub. So let me speak about your hub, One Hive, right? How much effort do you put on building your hub communities? So if I'm an entrepreneur or a developer, how much effort is the hub, One Hive, putting into building the community, like making the people feel engaged and part of One Hive?
All right, thank you. You are asking this at the right time. So currently, One Hive Ghana is working with about 4 or 5 communities. We are still building per the startups and entrepreneurs that we have on our list. So we have the community of agripreneurs, community of artisans, community of waste management, startups, a lot of communities that we are putting together based on the needs and what our startups are doing. Now, this is what we do. We have a community manager, first of all, to ensure that there is a regular engagement with these community members to know their needs, because community members of the agri entrepreneur community, their needs are totally different from the artisans community. So the community managers for each of these community are in charge of them. We have regular meetings. We have virtual sessions where we invite experienced or experts in the various fields to come and, provide capacity strengthening training for them. We also share funding opportunities to these communities. And we have 2 programs that we organize every year to support these communities. That is the Obasma Business Challenge and also the Women in Business Accelerator Program. All of these business support programs that we organize for our startups. And at the end of each of these programs, we award the best 3 startups. And sometimes we go ahead to award those who really perform but did not get to the first stage. And all of this is through collaboration and partnerships that we have with the local communities and the stakeholders, because we do not have any grants for the 2 programs we've been running, and we've been running it for 3 years now. And after each program, we make sure we are giving business tools to the startups, or we are giving them money as startup capital. And so, these are the ways that we support our community members. So I think other hubs are even doing more. As George mentioned, that they have a startup cooperative credit union that provide funding for the startups. So it's not just about joining the community and, a WhatsApp group will be created and that is all. No, we are concerned about the sustainability of the startups and the entrepreneurs that passes through our programs. And so every now and then, we are connecting them to opportunities that will ensure their growth. Thank you.
All right. I'm here. Over here. Yeah, I just want to comment on the earlier question that you threw, George, on the competition among the ecosystem, the intermediaries. I think if you look through the ecosystem in Ghana, the intermediaries have not really specialized, because the services that they render to these startups, there are a lot of services that they render. But it looks like the intermediaries themselves have not really specialized in key areas that they have the strength to be able to help the startups. Everybody seems to try to do everything each one is doing. This is where the competition comes in. Now, supposing that I have a business incubator and I specialize in, for instance, maybe idea development, ideation. There's another hub that focuses on taking the idea to the next level after the development, and somebody who takes the idea to market. I think when we're able to build those capacities, and as each individual intermediary or incubator or accelerator, let's say one focus on acceleration, one focus on the idea development, somebody focus on maybe business development and other things. When you do that, it makes it easy for you to, because in any ecosystem, resources are not everywhere. Resources are limited. So when you specialize, you can focus on the resources that are necessary for you to be able to help the startups that are within, and then you can move them on so that the next incubator or the next intermediary can take them and help them. I think when you do that, you reduce this competition that you talked about.
And thank you for that suggestion. So I'll let George answer. Since I'm the moderator, I'm kind of gagged, so I can't answer that question. And next, please, the next person, kindly state who you are, what institution you represent, if you want to ask the question, so that we kind of
Mr. Hussein. All right, I think that's so true with respect to specialization. But I think my emphasis was on the fact that because of the limited amount of funding in the ecosystem, and hubs want to survive anyway, and they try to be a little dynamic in trying to get access to some of those funding. I think it's also part of the lessons that we are getting out of the growth that is taking place. Because in as much as you want to get funding, doesn't mean that you can do all things, because it's also about capacity. If you don't have the capacity to do X and there's an X opportunity, forget it. Our hub is focused on entrepreneurship development. And I always say that we do digital programs because digitalization is an enabler. It's like the blood that runs through the entrepreneurship of today. Else, we would have settled on our entrepreneurship development. So if you come to us, whether you are even a church or you are a mosque, you come around, we want you to think entrepreneurship because that is what we are focused on, whatever you are doing. But there are hubs that try to navigate around the various areas, then they find their feet. So for me, I see it as part of the growth. But it's also because of the inadequacy of the funding. Because if there are enough funding for agriculture, funding for tech, funding for women entrepreneurs and all that, everybody will want to settle in their area of specialization. But because of the limited amount of funding, they try to hop in and there, and that is what brings about that competition. But I think instead of competing, why not collaborate? So for us, and for the Ghana Hubs Network is pushing that hubs will collaborate in their respective ecosystems. You go to Kumasi, they collaborate a lot on programs. You come to our part of the country, I'll call it sub-middle part because we are within the Bono and Ahafo region. So we are collaborating, we are trying to see how we can work together. So for me, I think the key word should be, we should collaborate instead of competing, because when you compete, others can outcompete you. And that will be a challenge. So it shouldn't be competition, it should be collaboration. But it's also because of the limited amount of funding in the ecosystem.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Said. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Ohene Asante, Executive Secretary to the World Technology Forum. Yeah, Mr. Said, my question is very short, but I think maybe in the interest of time, I have to make it a little bit more. Short. Yeah, it's about the topic of discussion, collaboration for strengthening the innovation ecosystem in the country. And there's one thing that I think we are about maybe taking it out, which is the what I'll call 3 E's, the education, experience, and the exposure. We have some people in the country who can actually make our work very easy. And I'm directing this question to Mr. Dujemfi because he tackled the government at the local government level. We look at district chief executive and some people like paramount chiefs. These are people who have lived life, some outside. Someone like maybe the president of our National House of Chiefs. He's a chartered economist, as a matter of fact. And maybe someone like Ochenhene, he has lived a life in the diaspora and he has access to a lot of business networks. If we are talking about startup support and the innovation ecosystem, how we can develop, I think we have to look at how we can secure funding for these people. We tackle issues of education, we tackle issues of building their experience and how we can expose them to these people. Apart from exposing them, we need to identify some people like these district chief executives who have the interest in supporting startups. Because you look at something like Hive, as Janat is addressing, they are doing very much, amazing job for agripreneurs and also the artisans, and these are the local level. We need these people, we need to work with them, but not all of them understand the work of these startups. My question to you, Mr. Jensen, is how do we get these DCs, these paramount chiefs, and even assembly members to get them know and understand the work of these startups and how we can develop them? Thank you so much.
Dr. Ohene, thank you very much for this question, because what you've done is to stress on the importance of what I was saying. Stakeholder engagement is very important. And I think that is where hubs need to strengthen, because what we are doing is opening avenues for strengthening collaboration. So stakeholder engagement, mapping such influencers, as I'll call them, within the ecosystem. So where you find yourself, is there a paramount chief? Maybe it's not a paramount chief, it could be a divisional or sub-divisional chief. But the chief in that area, most of whom these days are well-educated, well-connected, and have local resources. So we are sort of lamenting over resources, but some of the resources are also local. Once we map the influencers and then we engage in stakeholder dialogue about the issues that pertains to that local area, supporting startups, addressing issues of health, waste, water, issues of education, issues that are very local. Then they will make those resources available, including their expertise and business networks. So I agree with you that such influences are very important, and that in localizing the activities of the Ghana Digital Innovation Week, we should include mapping local influencers and having hubs and their partners within that triple helix approach that I talked about. Engage and then leverage the local resources to be able to build on what we are saying, building efficiency of hubs and their influencing capacity in the local areas. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To Gamali.
Hello. So my name is Gamali Ajaho. I'm from Research and Innovation Systems for Africa. And I really like Yao's point about localizing the issues, trying to identify what these local issues are and the hubs contributing to them. And just to kind of like create a little tangent from that, I think that one of the most important areas that can also help in terms of enabling innovation is research. And so I wanted to ask, do you have examples of hubs involved in research towards innovation in Ghana? And also, are there also examples of any potentials or any partnerships between hubs and their local universities or local research institutions that you can point to? And if not, how can we craft this type of partnership to drive innovation? Thank you.
Quite quickly, because the hub leaders in various regions are also here. They can speak to the issues. What I do is to coordinate, is to make the opportunities available, and also support them in what they do. So they have built the partnerships themselves at the regional level and are doing the research that supports their programs. But quite frankly, what you said is also very good. Gamali, I think that you've been away for too long. You need to, you need to stay close, because you are part of the ecosystem. You've been traveling around for some time. You need to stay close. We need your sort of expertise and your networks to be able to strengthen what we are doing. And it's part of the collaboration that we are seeking to also evolve. Thank you.
Okay, so with regards to the stakeholders engagement, I think it's something that we are already doing. So yes, let me talk about it. So there is no event, activity, project that we undertake without the involvement of the district, municipal, chief executives, and even the chiefs. And so when you come to One Hive Ghana, we have strong relationship with the chief executives, and it's intentional about building these relationships because they have resources, they have supports that sometimes they support you with your programs. As I mentioned, we are running 2 programs without grants or external funding. It's just coming from these local stakeholders, and they have been very, very supportive. We have the National Youth Authority in the Bono region that is ready or always support us with laptops whenever we need to train young people, and our laptops will not be enough. And so we do not take this relationship for granted. And for the chiefs, we are already in partnership with them. I know same applies to Agrico and the other hubs. With regards to research too, yes, we ensure that any project that is initiated, there is a research that is even undertaken before, because projects are not to satisfy the hubs. It's not supposed to satisfy the management of the hubs. Projects are supposed to satisfy the growth or to ensure the growth of our startups and our entrepreneurs. And so first of all, before you initiate a project, there is the need to reach out to these entrepreneurs to gather data on their needs and how best you support them to grow and also to sustain as enterprises. So yes, with regards to the research and stakeholder engagement, I think we are doing a lot, but also ideas are welcomed. That's why today we want you to search about the hubs and what we are doing, so that in case you also have anybody that we could speak with. I think Doc mentioned Ochehene, and so we have to start engaging these people to ensure that we are getting the right networks and also the opportunities out there. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. I think a quick one. Then also to the hubs, that we should be intentional about trying to also offer local solutions to the various communities or districts that we are working in. For us, we have an MOU with our district, so they adopt our activities as part of their achievement towards local economic development. So when we are having a program, the assembly sees it as their own program. And at a point, we also offer certain services that they might have even paid some good amount for. So that collaboration, we should be intentional about it, because the hubs are doing so much, but if we don't align with these institutions, in fact, they wouldn't put us on the spotlight, and they actually own the resources. So I think that is very important, and we need to be very intentional. With respect to research, like they said, we work with these academic institutions. And for us, we are in touch with about 2 universities, some on certain specific research areas, others we co-create programs for funding so that it will be of mutual benefit to the institution and also to us. So that collaboration is there even at the National Ghana Hubs Network level. We have worked with Ashesi University before and other institutions. So we are in there. That's why our Director of Research is pushing all that agenda. Thank you.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we've been, almost getting kicked out. So again, once again, thank you for your time. If you have any further questions, kindly, Gideon, do you have a question? Okay, real quick, because before they kick us out of the building, I'm sorry. This is our former chairperson, so.
Okay, this question is not for me, but somebody asked and I think you should answer. So don't punch me, even though I might have the answer. So the person says that, now, what's the role of the Ghana Hubs Network in building the capacity of the hubs? Because it looks like now it's becoming more profitable for people to open hubs rather than becoming startups. And so he feels that people just move from industry. They have never built a startup, and then they want to train startups. So nothing really happens at the hubs. So please answer that for them.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to use this answer to wrap up everything. Otherwise, we will get collaboratively kicked out of the building. So now, what is the role of the network? The network pretty much exists to ensure that we support hubs. Okay, see, so you setting up a hub, I understand. It's not something that I would say nobody should do it. If you've identified a clear need in your area and you set up a hub, what we would then encourage you to do is join the national network, which is the Ghana Hubs Network. We are then going to work with you to build your capacity in the sense that we're going to train individuals in your organization, whether it's a programs manager or finance systems that you need to put in place. So our role is to ensure that we build your capacity. See, so if you have a dream of starting a hub, but you don't have the skills for it yet, do not worry. Just contact the national network, and then we will put you through a lot of our programs that we already run in partnership with Make IT to ensure that we build your capacity to do that. Because again, we cannot dictate who builds a hub, but what we can do is we can work with you to ensure that you do the right thing in supporting the tech ecosystem. So with the likes of our partners, GIZ, and my fellow panelists, thank you for your time, and looking forward to engaging you for this week that we're here. So thank you very much.